In this lesson, we're going to learn how to convert fraction to decimal. We have here two given fractions in which we need to find out the decimal equivalent of each. So let's take first example 1 or number 1, which is 4/5 or 4 over 5. Now, please take note that this fraction line here represents also division. So when converting fraction to decimal, we simply divide the numerator by the denominator. So let's divide 4 divided by 5. Please take note that these two numbers here cannot be interchanged. So we place the numerator inside this symbol and we place the denominator outside this symbol. Now we proceed with division. 4 divided by 5 cannot be because 4 is less than 5. So we place 0 here. 0 times 5 is 0. Then we subtract 4 minus 0 is 4. After that, we add 0. The moment you add 0, you also add decimal point there and another decimal point on top. Then we bring down 0 to make this one 40. So we divide 40 divided by 5 can be, the answer is 8. After that, we multiply 8 times 5, which is 40. Then we subtract 40 minus 40, 0. So you only stop dividing when the remainder is already 0. So the decimal equivalent of 4/5 or 4 over 5 is 0.8. So this time we'll answer number 2, which is 1/3. We'll find out what is the decimal equivalent of 1/3. So let's divide 1 divided by 3, the numerator divided by the denominator. So the same process that we did earlier. So 1 divided by 3 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. We'll subtract 1 minus 0 is 1. So since we cannot divide 1 divided by 3, so we're going to add another 0 here and bring it down there. But please don't forget that the moment you add 0, you add a decimal point there and decimal point also there. So let's proceed with our division. 10 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. We'll subtract. Then 10 minus 9 is 1. So since the remainder is not yet 0, so we'll add another 0 here and bring it down there to make it 10. So we'll proceed again with the division. 10 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 3, 9. 10 minus 9 is 1. So it seems like our decimal is non-terminating, or it keeps on repeating. You see, if I still add another 0, this becomes 10. 10 divided by 3 is still 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. Then if I subtract, 10 minus 9 is 1. So this kind of decimal is called a non-terminating or repeating decimal. So we can stop dividing if we have at least 3 decimal places. So the answer for our fraction, which is 1/3, is 0.333. We put a line on top of it to indicate that this one is a repeating or non-terminating decimal. Or you can also write it this way, 0.333 with an ellipsis. Or does it have a difference when I write it also like this and a line like that, or 0.3 with an ellipsis? Of course, these 4 values here are all the same because as you can see, only one single digit repeats. Only one single digit repeats. So if I write it like this, if I write it like this, or if I write it like this or this, these are all okay. Okay? So this time we'll go to mixed number. How do we convert mixed number into decimal? So there are two common ways to convert this one to decimal. First is by converting this first into an improper fraction. What is 3 and 1/2 in an improper fraction? So let's convert. 2 times 3, 6 plus 1, 7 over 2. So 3 and 1/2 in an improper fraction, it's 7 over 2. So this time, since it's already a single fraction, we can now apply the division process, just like what we did previously, which is we're going to divide 7 by 2. So 7 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 2, 6. Okay? Then 7 minus 6 is 1. Since you cannot divide 1 by 2, so therefore we need to add 0 to make this 10 so that it would become greater than the divisor. So the moment you add 0, don't forget to add also decimal point here and another decimal point there. So this time we'll proceed with our division. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. We'll subtract, so as you can see, the remainder is 0. Therefore, we're going to stop there. So this is now our answer for this fraction. 3 and 1/2 is equal to 3.5 in decimal. Okay, so that's the answer. Another way to convert mixed number to decimal is by taking out this fraction part. Now, what are we going to do with this fraction? This is what we're going to convert into decimal. We leave this whole number as is. So, let's convert 1/2 into decimal. So, 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2 is 0. Then, 0 times 2 is 0. Then, we'll subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. So, since we cannot divide 1 divided by 2, so we're going to add 0 here and bring it down here. Now, since we added 0, please do not forget that we need to add decimal point there and decimal point also up there. So we have now 10 divided by 2 is 5. Then multiply 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to subtract, so 10 minus 10 is 0. So since we already have a 0 remainder, then we stop dividing now. So 1/2 in decimal is 0.5. So this decimal value here is, we're going to add it to 3. So since 3 is the whole number there and 1/2 is equivalent to 0.5, so we're going to add there. So plus 0.5. So our answer would be 3 plus 0.5 is 3.5. Therefore, 3.5 in decimal is equal to 3.5.